Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Walk in Faith. I'm excited to be sitting down with my friend. I always talk about your book. I actually just recommended it to someone, but Beyond Blessed Parenting, Tricia Thornton. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, after reading your book, I started recommending it to so many people.
Oh, so
My
thank you.
sister-in-law was one, obviously.
hmm
And yeah, so I wanted to talk to you last week, right? I reached out to you. It was World Mental Health Day. I think it was on Friday. And one of the things about that is it's something that should be discussed daily, right? It's something awareness should be really, it's something we should know about. It shouldn't just be celebrated or honored or referenced just one day. It's something we should talk about throughout the year. So I wanted to reach out to you and say, are there any tips or anything you could offer the audience that struggle with mental health awareness or mental health or addiction?
Yes, I think I just love that we're talking about this because we all struggle with mental health. I mean, none of us have this down quite perfectly, and we're never going to. So, a few things to think about is we're entering in most of the country, in most of the world, we're entering a new season. Whether wherever you are, you're probably moving from one season to another. For us, you and I, we're moving from summer to fall. And whether you like the season that's coming up or you dislike it, transitions always elicit some feeling of unknown. And when we feel that feeling of, ooh, what's coming ahead, even if it's exciting, we still don't know exactly what's going to happen. And so when our brain sense something is new, something is ahead, something may not feel 100% in our control, then we start to feel like we're in a state of disarray. Couple of telltale signs. I think this would be helpful for us to go over. I find for me personally, if I'm really tired, if I'm feeling a lot of tension in my neck,
Mm.
those are telltale signs that my body is saying to me, hey, you might need to be aware of the stress that you're carrying. Also, if we feel like everything bugs you, like everything, like from your spouse chewing to the red light that you get stopped at again, to the person cutting you off in traffic, the long line at the grocery store, just everything irritates you. That to me is also a sign that we're having a hard time balancing. Um, Another one is if we feel short tempered, like those things that I just mentioned, and many others, especially in parenting, if you feel like you're just quick to reaction, then that probably means we're not slowing down to embrace that pause. And that can elicit a deeper mental health issue down the road.
Interesting. You said three things right away.
Yes.
First thing is control, right? Why do
Mm.
I feel the need to always control the situation, especially for me as a follower of Christ, as a believer? I know that I'm not in control of anything, right? I know that God has me in the palm of his hand. I can recite the scripture over and over, but yet I want to be in control. And then the other thing, what is the benefit of carrying stress? Why? I know there is no benefit of being overwhelmed, stressed out, waking up at 2 in the morning. There is no benefit. And one thing too, I think it was last night. I got a little short with my son, or the day before the morning. And immediately I stopped and I felt God say, why are you responding that way? Because it
Mm.
wasn't that he did anything that was out of the ordinary. It was because I was carrying the stress, the anxiety from, say, the day before, and I reacted in a negative way. And then I apologized because immediately I felt this unsettling sensation in my spirit. But tell me, what is the benefit of carrying stress, and why do we always feel the need to control the situation?
Well, first of all, I do love one thing that you did is you embraced the pause. You actually did pause and listen to God and say, oh, wait, why am I responding this way? And that was a beautiful kind of redirection. And what you did with that later, there's many tips on that. But I think the reason why we constantly are feeling that we have to be on a driven motor, that the world around us acts on performance. it's all about performance. It's all about doing. It's all about moving and accomplishing. It's not often about being. In
Mm,
fact, stillness and silence, this is a little bit nod to my first part of my book, is not easy and it's not common. It's very difficult and it can be fear producing to sit and be still. And so we want to keep moving. I just, on my way in this morning, I was listening to Jeremiah. Can't tell you exactly which verse, somewhere around in the teens in the chapters, but it was talking about us being the clay and he's the potter. And I don't know what it is. I just think on this side of heaven, we are going to always struggle with that feeling of giving up that control. You also said, is stress really healthy? Okay, there is a little bit of healthy stress, meaning that if you can balance the need and the drive to move forward and to be healthy, and you can do that in a balanced way, not perfection, but balanced way, maybe more self-aware way, then that's okay. It's okay to be excited about learning something new. And like for me, it's exciting for me to think about a third book. It's exciting for me to think about speaking to audiences and working with my clients. Those are things that I strive for. But if I carry that, the weight of that, and then I get short and
mm,
I don't pause, then I think that's where it can tip the scale of negative versus positive.
that's interesting. I like the way you sort of distinguished or defined both levels of stress. Now, what about like for instance, if a spouse, a loved one is carrying this sort of this emotional baggage, or if we feel like they're overwhelmed or struggling with anxiety, what should we do? Should we approach them? Because not everyone's willing to speak openly about their anxiety or their depression or what they're going through. They bury it, right? Which is not always a great thing to do, or they find outlets. How do
Mm.
we recognize that and what should we say or what should we do?
That's such a great question and layered question. So my first thought is let's break it down to a few different audiences. So let's say a parent is recognizing that their child is struggling. Then one, and this can go friend to friend, also spouse, family member, but it's really important in parenting is modeling. So if we can model, because our actions are going to speak louder than our words, if we can model that we're taking care of ourselves and how we're doing that, we're eating healthy, we're exercising, we're trying to get out in nature at least for a few minutes a day and get some vitamin D, whether it's sunny or rainy, whatever it is, but just get outside. Just doing little things, pausing, journaling, all those different prayer, whatever it is, but doing some mindfulness, if we can model that, our children are going to mimic that. They're going to see, oh, this is how this is done. And they will begin to be curious and wonder what you're doing versus what they're doing. So, as far as a family member, my suggestion is to come alongside first instead of coming in with this is how you need to help yourself. Listening and being present with them is going to go a lot further than you lecturing or sending them links to read or podcasts to listen to. Those are all helpful, but I think if they aren't wrapped with you being present with them and you being vulnerable yourself with them, then they're not going to take that as positively.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Because like you said it too about modeling, because we it can have the negative effect too, depending on how we model. Like
Absolutely.
me lashing out, or I wouldn't lash out, exaggerate,
Right.
but me, scolding my
Getting frustrated.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Was it really because I usually never I'm really very passive. So, I didn't model the right behavior and then to justify my actions and to say, well, I was frustrated or things, whatever the reasoning is, that's not a good modeling sort of tool. I always think of
Yes.
do not exasperate your children, right? When we're supposed
Yeah.
to model the right.
Absolutely.
So,
Let me give you, Craig, can I give you one exercise that
oh
I
yeah.
think everybody will be able to do that is simple It grounds you, it brings you to a state of self-awareness. It can take less than a minute, but less than 2 or 3 minutes. We won't do the whole thing, but I'll just tell you the steps. I call it connect with your heart activity. And I really believe in actually putting your hand on your heart because it's very comforting. There's a nurturing feeling of holding your heart. So put your hand on your heart, wherever it is.
Okay.
And
Right.
you don't even have to feel it beating, but just somewhere up here. And then I want you just to simply, you don't have to do it right now, but individually, we would want to name 3 feelings that we're feeling in the moment. Whatever they are, it doesn't matter. And once you name them, at the end of that, I feel blank, 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 and it is okay that I feel those things. Then the next step, take 2 or 3 deep breaths and then end with either a prayer or a positive statement, some type of positive self talk or a prayer. That will ground you. And it's a beautiful pausing activity. And it just kind of brings you kind of, huh. But it also allows you to feel like it's okay that you're mad. It's okay that you were frustrated with your son. It's really okay that we get mad as parents. It's okay that we get mad at somebody cutting us off in traffic, but it's what do we do with that?
Mm,
That's the key.
that's true. How do we respond? How
Yes.
do we
Yes.
react? No, that
Yeah.
that's positive. Let me just fix, sorry. I mean that how we respond, how we react. That is very positive. That's powerful. And that's why I wanted to reach out to you. I mean, you have so much going on and you always take the time whenever I reach out to you. And you mentioned something too. I know maybe you're working on your third book, but currently you said now the audiobook is also being released soon. Tell me about that.
Yes, the audiobook is coming out soon, very soon. I don't know exactly the day, but in the next little bit. And I read it. I'm the narrator, which was really
Congratulations.
fun. Thank you. It
Congratulations.
was a fun experience. I loved it. But yeah, it'll be available anywhere audiobooks are available. And so I'll be making a big announcement. People probably could follow me on Tricia Thornton Therapy on Instagram and Facebook, and they'll see that announcement of when it's released.
And I advise people too. Like I said last time, I picked up this book and I was struggling with at that time about just being still, right? Just sitting. And I felt this urge to pick up the book and I didn't. And the next day I picked it up and I didn't put it down and I made notes throughout the book. And when we spoke about it, it's really has impacted my life. And I advise people all the time to pick up the book and I guarantee you will read it in one day because it is so powerful. There is so much in this book and I look forward to listening to the audiobook and potentially reading your third book when you
One day,
decide one
one
day. We
day.
know how hard it is to write books, but
Yes.
Tricia, it's really always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for
Thank you so much, Craig, for having me.
guys. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of Walk in Faith. Always remember you have the ability to inspire and evangelize your words and actions. God bless you.